Yeah, Shabbat Shalom everyone. Once again, we are back with a new parasha, which is today the PARASHA REEH, which is based on the book of Devarim, chapter 11:26 to 16:17. So there is a lot of stuff to discuss, but I will make some points. And first of all, I want to bring to remembrance that it is the last month of the life of Moshe in the 40 years before the children of Israel entered the land of Canaan. So that is the last generation. If you do like I did, when I read this parasha, I got the feeling these words are for me, speak to me. We are the last generation by the favor of Elohim, those who will go back to the land which Jehovah gave to Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. So this is very interesting if we look at the context and try to really imagine in our inner mind that Jehovah is speaking to us directly, and not to take it like a book which he spoke thousands of years back to the children of Israel. What he spoke yesterday is the same today. So it is a warning for the last generation. Remember, those who were above 20 died in the wilderness. They are no more there. We have here only those who were not 20 when they left Mitzrayim, and those who were born in the wilderness. Now, yeah, this shall speak to us. And we have the great privilege today to have the Torah before us in order to learn and to understand. So I have chosen some points I want to discuss with you, because it is so much we could take hours to go through every verses. But here is something that I want to talk with you, and in particular is the blessing and the curse. It is about the place which Jehovah shall choose, and we'll see if we have time, the warning against false prophet. Now, yeah, very interesting topic. So first of all, we're going to discuss about the beginning, what we see in Devarim. We're going to go to the first one. Let me see. Okay, 11:26. Behold, I set before you this day a blessing and a curse. A blessing if you obey the commandments of Jehovah your Elohim, which I command you this day, and a curse, uglala, if you will not obey the commandments of Jehovah your Elohim, but turn aside out of the way which I command you this day, to go after other Elohim which you have not known. And it shall come to pass, when Jehovah thy Elohim has brought you into the land with your goats to possess it, that you shall put the blessing upon Mount Gerizim, the curse upon Mount Ebal. So here there is a balance between blessing and curse. And he said, when you enter into the land, you will put it on Mount Gerizim and Mount Ebal. How interesting is, because today the location of Mount Gerizim is in Samaria. Samaria is not under the control of Judah today. Okay? So now, what does the Torah tell us? There is a curse or a blessing, depending if we obey or disobey. Now I want to compare with what the word from Shaul in the book of Galatians, which is very interesting. If we go to Galatians chapter 3, we will see there was a conflict in the time of Yeshua. We have to understand that there was a lot of discrepancy, a lot of groups. You have those who follow Yeshua. There were thousands, it's not 10 people, thousands who follow Yeshua in his time. But in Jerusalem, there were those, the opponent from Yeshua and his doctrine, for different reasons. You are those who want to, like the Pharisees, this group of Pharisees, I don't speak for every Pharisee, be careful not to put that in one bag, but to be clear that there was some Pharisees who approved Yeshua. We see that in Nicodemus. We see that in Shaul. Shaul was a Pharisee later. So, but there was some groups who were against the teaching of Yeshua for personal reason. And all the faithful left Jerusalem and went to Galilee, the Galilee. This is where Yeshua was living. He came to Jerusalem during the feast, but after that you can look here for yourself. If you read carefully, you will see that he lived in Jerusalem and he went back. He went back to Galilee and to other places. So here he say, look, and Shaul started this word which is, "O foolish Galatians, was bewitched you that should not obey the truth, before whose eyes Yeshua Mashiach has been evidently set forth and put on the stake." So now he said that, and I will explain that why. So he said here, he goes on and he said, "For as many as work of the Torah are under the curse. For it is written, cursed is everyone that continue not in all things which are written in the book of the Torah to do them. But no man is justified by the Torah in the sight of Elohim. It is evident, for the judge shall live by his emunah." He quoted Habakkuk. "And the Torah is not of faith, but the man that does them shall live in them." So the Torah do not work out the salvation. Mashiach has redeemed us from the curse of the Torah, be made a curse for us, for it is written, cursed is everyone that hang on the tree. It is a drash. Shaul is speaking in a drash. He make a drash here. I want to explain. So the curse of the Torah comes if we don't do what the Torah tells us to do, as we have read in the book of Devarim. If we disobey to the Torah. But what is added to the Torah to make it work, it doesn't help us. Like we see in the chapter 5 when we read, look, keep going, Shaul, in his instruction. He says, "Stand fast, therefore, in the liberty wherewith Mashiach has made us free, and be not entangled against with the yoke of bondage. Behold, I, Paul, say unto you, that if you be circumcised, Mashiach shall profit you nothing." Many have said, okay, you don't need to be circumcised because Shaul said that. "I testify against to every man that is circumcised, that he is a debtor to do the whole Torah. Mashiach is become of none effect unto you. Whosoever you are justified by the Torah, you have fallen from grace. For we, through the Spirit, wait for the hope of righteousness by faith. For in Mashiach Yeshua neither circumcision avails anything, nor circumcision but faith which works by love. Does Shaul speak against the circumcision here? No way. The circumcision belongs to a mitzvot, is a mitzvot given by Moshe, a commandment given by Moshe. It cannot be nullified. What he is speaking here is more deeper. It is that if we try, you see, if we try to make this circumcision to be our way for salvation, then we fall into a curse. Listen here, when we go to the book of Acts, what's happened here? In Acts chapter 15, we read, 15:1, "And certain men which came down from Yehuda taught the brethren, saying, Except you be circumcised after the manner of Moshe, you cannot be saved." You see, they bring the salvation with the Torah. They say the condition is conditional. You get circumcised, you can be saved. You are not circumcised, you cannot be saved. But Shaul and Barnabas do not accept. So they say, okay, when we go to Jerusalem, we will go to the elders about this question. It's very interesting. Shaul was very humble. He was knowledgeable in every part of the Torah. But he didn't decide to do that himself. He said, okay, I will go to the elder. Myself, I will not take any decision. And he goes and he met Kepha, and he met Yohanan, and he met Yaakov. And Shimon began to speak and say, he said, after that, after that, Yaakov take the position and say, Shimon has declared how Elohim at the first did visit the Goyim, the nations, to take out of them a people his name. And to this agree the word of the prophet, as it is written, after this I will return and will build again the tabernacle of David, Sukkot David, which is fallen down. I will build again the ruin thereof, and I will set it up. As of the tabernacle of David, David was a king who was able to unite all Israel, the 12 tribes together, that the residue of man might seek after Jehovah, and all the Goyim, all those from the nation, upon whom my name is called, says Jehovah, who does all things. Known unto Elohim are all his words from the beginning of the world. And he say, Yaakov speak and say, wherefore my sentence is that we trouble not them which from among the Goyim are turned to Elohim, but that we write unto them that they abstain from pollution of idols, fornication, things strangled from blood. For Moshe of all time, as in every city them that preach him, being read in the synagogue every Shabbat day. You see, these are the first step for everyone who turn into the Torah. He said here that they abstain from pollution of idol, fornication, things strangled from blood. Which I will explain, very interesting. He doesn't pick that just so. And he said, for Moshe of all time, this means the Torah, as in every city them that preach him, been read in the assembly every Shabbat day. You see? So those newcomers, they will go into the assembly where the Torah is read. This is why I have said in other place, I have said that if you are in an assembly where your leaders do not teach the Torah, leave. You are in the wrong place. Because it is our duty to renew our mind by studying the Torah. Now I come back to these verses. Here in particular, the verse 20, but that we write unto them that they abstain from pollution of idol, from fornication, from things strangled, from blood. It's very interesting, because if we go to the book of Revelation, and we go to the chapter, let me see, chapter 2, and to the assembly in Pergamum. I say, and to the messenger of the assembly in Pergamos, write, this thing says he which has the sharp sword with two edges. I know thy works, and where you dwells, where Satan's seat is, and you hold fast my name, has not denied my faith, even in those days, wherein Antipas, my faithful martyr, who was slain among you, where Satan dwells. But I have a few things against you, because you are there them that hold the doctrine of Balaam, who taught Balak to cast a stumbling block before the children of Israel, to eat things sacrificed unto idols, to commit fornication. You see? This is why we see Yaakov in the book of Acts 15 speaking about that. These are the first requirements to reverse what our ancestors have done. So it's very important to understand that the word of the Brit Hadasha fit together with the Tanakh and with the Torah of Moshe, so that we don't go everywhere and think that we can do whatever we want. We need to learn and to understand that everything has a purpose for us. Now, we go back to our parasha from today, the book of Devarim, and we're going to go. I want to look here. Something very interesting. In chapter 12, I will go to the verse 11. I will show you something very interesting. You see, in chapter 12, verse 11, is written, "Then there shall be a place which Jehovah your name shall choose to cause his name to dwell there. Thither shall you bring all that I command you, your burnt offering, your tzabach, slaughtering, your tithe, and the heave offering of your hand, and all your choice vows which you vow unto Jehovah. And you shall rejoice before Jehovah your Elohim, you and your son, your daughters, your maidservant, your maidservant, and the Levite that is within your gate, for as much as he has no part nor inheritance with you." I say, when you do that, you will rejoice. So it seems it's not a punishment. It is to rejoice. Why? Because Jehovah said that he will bless those who obey to him. Now, this word, the place which Jehovah your name shall choose, appears only in this parasha 8 times. 8 times you will find that. It's very interesting. I will say it's dividing 12:5, 12:14, 12:18, 12:21, 12:26, 14:23, 15:20, 16:2, and 8. And it reads the place, much more. So only in this parasha, it is 8 times that Jehovah said the place which Jehovah your name shall choose. But what is the place? That is the question. Now, to go into the place, we have to go. We go back and we will go to 2 Samuel and we see. I will go there to 2 Samuel and we will look in the chapter 7. And David had taken the place from Saul, and the prophet come to him and speak. Let me see. It is Nathan. Nathan is speaking. It came to pass when the king sat in his house, and Jehovah has given him rest round about from all his enemies, that the king said to Nathan the prophet, "See now, I dwell in a house of cedar, but the ark of Elohim dwells within curtains." He was still in the tabernacle. Nathan said to the king, "Go, do all that is in thine heart, for Jehovah is with you." And it came to pass that night that the word of Jehovah came unto Nathan, saying, "Go and tell my servant David, thus says Jehovah, shall you build me a house for me to dwell in? Whereas I have not dwelt in any house since the time that I brought up the children of Israel out of Mitzrayim, even to this day, but I walk in a tent and in a tabernacle. In all the place wherein I have walked with all the children of Israel, spake I a word with any of the tribe of Israel, whom I commanded to feed my people Israel, saying, Why build you not me an house of cedar? Now therefore so shall you say unto my servant David, Thus says Jehovah Tsebaot, I took thee from the sheepcote, from following the sheep, to be ruler over my people of Israel. And I was with you whithersoever you wantest, and I've cut off all thy enemies out of thy sight. I made thee a great name, like unto the name of the great that are in the earth. Moreover, I will appoint a place for my people Israel, will plant them, that they may dwell in a place of their own, and move no more. Neither shall the children of wickedness afflict them any more as before time. And he goes on. It is say, And when thy day be fulfilled, and you shall sleep with thy father, I will set up thy seed after you, which shall proceed after thy bowel, and I will establish his kingdom. He, thy seed, shall build an house for my name, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever. I will be his father, he shall be my son. If he commit iniquity, I will chasten him with the rod of man, with the stripe of the chin of man. But my mercy, my chesed, shall not depart away from him, as I took it from Saul, whom I put away before you. Very interesting. So I said to David, no, you will not build a temple, but your son will do that. And we look now in another place. I will see that put it a bit in order in 1 King 8. We're going to look in the verse 20 and 29, and we read, okay, it's Shlomo speaking. Huh? Yet have you respect unto the prayer of thy servant and to the supplication of Jehovah my Elohim, to hearken to the cry and to the prayer which thy servant pray before you today, that thine eyes may be open toward this house night and day, toward the place of which you are saved, my name shall be there, that you may hearken to the prayer which the servant shall make toward this place. You see, he's coming here and said, my name, my name. You see? So we go to the verse 43. Hear you in heaven, thy dwelling place, and do according to all that the stranger called to thee for, that all people of the earth may know thy name, to fear you as do thy people Israel, that they may know that this house which I have built is called by thy name. That is Jerusalem. And it's very important because we know that Jerusalem was under the control of the Jebusite, and it is David who conquered the Jebusite. From this time on, we know that it is Jerusalem. You can read another place. I will try to see here other place where we can find. There's many verses. Voilà. Look here. 1 Kings 11:36. What do we read? He said here very clear, I will take the kingdom out of his son's hand, I will give it unto you, even 10 tribes. That is when he makes the split after Shlomo. And he said, and unto his son will I give 1 tribe, that David my servant may have a light always before me in Jerusalem, the city which I have chosen me to put my name. So there is no doubt that we see that Jerusalem is a city chosen by Elohim to put his name. Now, why do I say that? It's very interesting because if we go back to our parasha from today, and when we have seen in the chapter 12, we have seen that Jehovah promised that, and he will repeat that 8 times. All this parasha, he repeat 8 times the place which Jehovah, your Elohim, shall choose. So we are now at the end of the life of Moshe. The Torah is given by Moshe to the last generation of the children of Israel. The question is, when will the temple will be built? When Jerusalem will be there with the temple, that the name of Jehovah dwell there? But it will take a long time. A long time, almost 500 years. 500 years before it come to pass. Okay? We have the time when Yehoshua, the son of Nun, will enter into Canaan. Yeshua died with 110, the age of 110. So this represents he left when he was, he entered the land when he was 80. So this is 30 years. We have the time of the judge. It's a period about over 400 years. We have the time of Saul, and then the time of David. You see, so if we put all together, it will take a long time. Why do I say that? I say that because it's very interesting, because today, all around the world, Judah and Ephraim, the house of Israel, our brother from Yehuda, we all wait for the return of the Mashiach. We all wait for the return of the Mashiach. Don't make any mistake. Yehuda, like us, from the nation, wait for the Mashiach. So don't think that Yehuda do not know. Yehuda not much better than we about the Mashiach. The coming of Mashiach, the work of the Mashiach, what will the Mashiach do? I don't speak about Yeshua, I speak of the Mashiach. Don't mistake me. So, please, we should be humble and not to boast ourselves about what we don't know. were those from the nation coming back to the covenant through Yeshua. Without Yeshua, we are lost in this world. We were, like Shaul said in Ephesians chapter 2, we were lost in the world without Elohim. So don't forget, count how many years you are in the Torah. Before, we were outside the covenant without Elohim. Without Elohim. Listen carefully, without Elohim. So today, for all those who boast, they must learn that there is nothing to boast. Oh, they may say, oh yeah, but Judah, the Jew, they have not Yeshua. They don't know anything. We have the Ruach HaKodesh. What a nonsense. What a nonsense. We know that many people, many who claim today to walk in the Torah, I say many, I don't say all, many do not learn the Torah. Because in their assembly, many teach them, so-called leaders, teach them that the 10 words is all. That is all. You learn the 10 words and it's finished. But that's not the truth. The truth is the Torah. The Torah is a word of truth. The Torah is a word of truth. It's not the 10 words. The Torah, all. And we know that Yeshua said in Yohanan 17:17, sanctify them by your words. Your word is truth. And if you go in the Psalm 119, you can read for yourself. You go to the Psalm 119 and we go to the verse 150. We're going to look, that many verses, 142, 89, I will see. Okay, 142. Thy righteousness is the everlasting righteousness. That Torah is the truth. He doesn't say the 10 words. That Torah. Okay, 150. 151. You are near Yehovah, and all the commandments are true, not the 10 words. You see? 89. 89 we read again. Forever, O Yehovah, thy word is settled in heaven. Thy word is the old Torah of Moshe. And there are many more. There are many more. So today we have to be careful. And thus I will come to the last point I wanted to speak is in the chapter 13 from Devarim. It seems to be strange because we speak about prophet. If there arise among you a prophet or a dreamer of dreams and give thee a sign or a wonder, and the sign of the wonder come to pass, whereof is spoken to you, saying, let us go after other Elohim, which you have not known, let us serve them, you shall not hearken to the word of that prophet, or that dreamer of dreams, for Yehovah, your Elohim, prove you, to know whether you love Yehovah, your Elohim, with all your heart, with all your soul. Remember, it is a commandment that we read in the parasha, in the parasha he gave about Devarim 6:4, which is the commandment of the Shema. You shall walk after Yehovah your Elohim, and fear him, and keep his commandment, and obey his voice, and you shall serve him, and cleave unto him. And that prophet or that dreamer of dreams shall be put to death, because he has spoken to turn you away from Yehovah your Elohim, which brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim, and redeemed you out of the house of bondage, to thrust thee out of the way which Yehovah thy Elohim commanded you to walk in. So shall you put the evil way from the midst of you. Now, prophet, Navi, we have a certain concept in our mind about a prophet. But the prophet, if you look carefully into the book of Yeshayahu, Yirmiyahu, Yereskiel, Habakkuk, or whoever, you will see that they all speak the Torah. They all speak the Torah. So, why? Because they are the mouth of Jehovah to bring the people back to the Torah, to the truth, to forsake all what they have done, which is from wrong leaders. So, if you are in an assembly and your leader tell you story and make you story about how you shall live, which is not according to the Torah, then he's leading you to another Elohim. To another Elohim. Elohim is power. Elohim is not God. The word Elohim means power. So the power that creates everything, which is Jehovah. The power that creates everything. Elohim is not God. God is an abstract word which comes from the pagan world. Right? So how do I know if my leader lead me in the path of righteousness? I will know because I have to check. Does my leader speak the truth? Does my leader refer to the Torah when he speaks to me, when he speaks to us? Does my leader encourage us to work in the Torah? Or does my leader say, oh, you know, it's enough. You take the New Testament and the Holy Ghost, the Ruach HaKodesh, the Holy Spirit will lead you into all truth. That is a lie. That is a lie, because the Ruach HaKodesh cannot do anything if you don't take the Torah, study it, and practice it. This is what we have to learn. So my brother and sister, I encourage you to check your leaders, to check yourself if you have been misled, and to pray to Elohim and to help, that he help you to find the right place to go and to find the right leader. Your leader must be somebody who himself live by the way he wants you to live. He must be an example. How can a father have righteous children in his house if himself is not righteous? How can a smoker teach his son, do not smoke because it is not good? How can a drunkard teach his son, oh son, do not drink because that's not good? No, that's not so. The children will learn from us. As they will. So we need to be an example, and not one time, every single day. Every single day we have to check up ourselves. Every single day when we wake up, we have to commit ourselves to Elohim. Not from Shabbat to Shabbat, every single day. We have to dedicate our life to Elohim and to say, yes, Father, I present myself before you. I pray for your guidance today. Help me to live this life before thee. We want to be people of truth. People are called Am Israel. A people that is called by thy name. So this is what we have to do. So I hope this will help you today to get a small glimpse of what the Torah has to say. There is many more to say. I just give you something for you to encourage you to study the Torah. To study the Torah. And even if it is not easy, I guarantee you that if you are patient with yourself and will accept to learn, Jehovah will be your help. Jehovah will show you beautiful things, as it is written in Torah. Open my, in the word, in the Psalm 119, it is written, open my eyes that I may see wondrous things out of thy Torah. So we have to pray. Yes, Father, open our eyes. Open our eyes that we may see wondrous things out of that Torah, the word of truth. So if anybody tell you, no, it's enough, you can do that, it's enough, don't believe. Or the Haftarah. I know there is assembly with the Dutch, Haftarah. Never teach the Torah. How can they know? How can they explain what the prophet is saying, the Haftarah, if they don't read the Torah? Nonsense. So, brother and sister, I thank you for watching. and I hope we see you again in the next parasha. We come now to the Chodesh of the 6th month, in the month of Elul for Judah, a month of introspection for many. We search out their life before the 7th month, the month of Yom Kippur. So I pray you may be blessed through the new month, and let us correct our life, bring us back straight before Elohim, that we may all be blessed and learn from the word of truth. So be blessed. Shalom. See you next time. Bye-bye. Bon. Je sais pas comment tu finis.